We got a lot to talk about in a short amount of time. The Bears made a flurry of moves today. They claimed two players off waivers, signed 15 players to the practice squad, released two players, and Luther Burden changed his jersey number. All that and more. Let's go ahead and get right into it. First, let's talk about Luther's number change. It's exactly as I predicted here. He switched his number to number 13. You can now safely buy a Luther Burden jersey. Although I was honestly starting to get used to him wearing number 87, but he will officially be wearing number 13. Anyone who remembers me talking about this multiple times this offseason, it makes a lot of sense here. He wore number 3 in college. His name is Luther Burden the Third. You have to remember that the third is on the end of his name, and his nickname is LB3. So the number 1-3 fits him pretty well. It'll allow him to keep his nickname. Okay, and now let's go ahead and talk about all the roster moves. The Bears made two waiver claims, but they did not add an edge rusher or a running back. We brought in linebacker DeMarco Jackson from the Saints, a guy that Dennis Allen is very familiar with, and former Bears undrafted free agent signing, another Ryan Poles guy, cornerback Jalen Johnson is back. The special teams standout and fill-in starter is a welcome addition to provide depth to our secondary. Welcome back, Jalen Jones. To make room for these two new additions, we have released two players from the 53. Long snapper Scott Daly and wide receiver slash kick returner Devin Duvernay. That's a big surprise there. And I actually expect that both guys might be back in the next few days, or they could end up on the practice squad. It's still possible that one or two guys get added to short term injured reserve or even PUP, but there were an absolute flurry of additions today, and you can already throw yesterday's 53-man roster right out the window. Now we need a long snapper and a kick returner. Or do we? Both these players are veterans, so they do not have to go through the waiver process, and the Bears could add them back to the practice squad. But are their replacements already signed? As the Bears added 15 players to the practice squad. First, I wanted to talk about a couple fan favorites that are back. Pass rusher Jamri Cromah is back, as well as a couple of other edge rushers to join him, Xavier Carlton and Tano Passanio. Two interior offensive linemen, both who had very strong preseasons, Jordan McFadden and center Ricky Stromberg. We also brought in big defensive tackle Jonathan Ford, Britton Brown, the running back, a trio of wide receivers, J.P. Richardson, Maurice Alexander, and Miles Boykin, tight end Steven Carlson as well, and then one of our UDFA signings from this year, linebacker Power Eccles, and two veteran cornerbacks, Trey Flowers and Mekhi Garner. Here's an interesting one, though. Long snapper Luke Elkin has been added to the practice squad. Is he taking Scott Daly's place? Ryan Poles did this last year when we started out the season. We did not have a long snapper on the 53-man roster. We had Scott Daly on the practice squad for the first couple of weeks, and we used that flex spot on him before we signed him to the active roster in week 3 or 4. But is there a replacement kick returner on this list? We also released Devin Duvernay, and the one guy who might potentially fit that bill is Maurice Alexander, who looked pretty good on kick returns in the preseason. We released a Pro Bowl kick returner, and to me, that tells me maybe he wasn't healthy, or possibly the coaching staff didn't believe he had it anymore. But right now, we might be looking for replacements. I also think we might still need to add another running back to the roster after adding 15 guys to the practice squad and signing another corner and linebacker. I would be keeping an eye out for running backs in free agency. But there were some big moves today, but I do not believe the Bears are done yet. I still see at least one or two more moves on the horizon here. I will be back to break it down, and I'll be breaking down our 53-man roster once it's actually final and drop a new depth chart, as well as a lot more. But I wanted to go ahead and get this one out to you guys. As always, I appreciate everyone who watches. Remember to hit that like button for me. Stay tuned, and until next time, Bear down.